Shraddha Walkar, allegedly brutally murdered by her boyfriend Aftab, had written to the Mumbai police back in 2020 saying that he used to beat her up and, eerily she said, he may chop her into pieces. Her letter has only now surfaced during the course of the investigations. In it, she also writes that Aftab's family knew about his behavior. The letter is dated November 23rd, 2020 and also ties into what she told her friend Karan over WhatsApp around the same time, where she had shared a photograph of her bruised face as well and also then visited a hospital a few days later with internal injuries. Now, the Mumbai police have confirmed that Shraddha did complain. And they, however, say she withdrew that complaint later, saying that she and Aftab had resolved matters.
उस मामले में क्या कार्रवाई हुई है?
देखिए, उस मामले में जो भी जरूरी कार्रवाई करनी थी, उस मामले में जो भी जरूरी कार्रवाई करनी थी, वो कार्रवाई तिलुंज पुलिस की तरफ से की गई है। जो अर्जी दी गई थी, अर्जी के ऊपर में जांच हुई है। जांच के बाद में खुद जो कंप्लेनेंट ने लिखित बयान दिया है कि उसकी अब कोई कंप्लेंट या तकरार रही नहीं है और जो उसका जो ये था फ्रेंड था, उसके फ्रेंड के माँ बाप ने आके उनको मतलब समझाया था दोनों को भी, और अभी उसकी कोई तकरार नहीं है, ऐसा करके उसने रिटन स्टेटमेंट दिया था, और जिसके चलते वो मतलब वहीं पे वो क्लोज हो गया।
मैंने उसको देखा है, बहुत सीरियस पत्र है, उसके ऊपर क्यों कार्रवाई नहीं हुई इसकी जांच हमको करनी पड़ेगी। मैं किसी पर दोषारोपण नहीं करना चाहता, लेकिन इस प्रकार के पत्रों पर कार्रवाई अगर नहीं हुई तो ऐसी घटनाएं होती है, इसलिए जरूर उसकी जांच की जाएगी।
Well, joining us for more on that story, Mr. Alok Lal, former DGP of Uttarakhand, Ranjana Kumari, activist and commentator, joining us as well. Alok Lal ji, to you first, in such a situation, I guess the first reaction of a lot of us was, oh, well, why didn't the police do more at that time when she had written this, complaint letter? They, of course, say that she withdrew it. But does that completely tie the police's hands if a complainant formally withdraws a complaint?
See, the police acts on the complaint, first of all, and they said they did what was required to be done. Then it was withdrawn. This application was withdrawn. So obviously an overworked police force will not continue to look into an application which has been withdrawn by the one who moved the application. So one can accept this explanation of Mumbai police. However, this is going to be a piece of important evidence as far as the chain of circumstantial evidence which has been collected so far. Because this is in the handwriting of the deceased and she has signed it. So it's a very important piece of paper.
Point you're making, sir, and I want to sort of further question you on that, because at the moment a lot of the evidence in this case is circumstantial. We still don't actually have a body. There are body parts that have been found. There are forensic tests that will take some time to do on those. There's no murder weapon as such that's been recovered yet. So, as you rightly said, these other pieces of the puzzle will be very important in making the case against Aftab, right?
Yes, this circumstantial evidence, Nidhi, it is important that not only should the factum of the case be established based on that, but it should point to only one possibility, one hypothesis. And in this case, the guilt of the accused. There should be absolutely no doubt about establishing that based on circumstantial evidence. So the importance of this particular piece of evidence has to be understood in this context, that the prosecution has to prove the case beyond any doubt, especially when direct evidence is not available. We don't have eyewitnesses who have seen this happening. There are many pieces of circumstantial evidence, yes, but then to prove a case of murder based purely on circumstantial evidence is sometimes very difficult. And only one conclusion should be drawn based on what has been presented to the court of law. There should be no other possibility of any other conclusion.
Right. Ranjana Kumari, just wanted your thoughts on, the initial reactions also to this letter today seem to have stemmed from utter shock that she, in a sense, almost predicted the way her own death would happen. But also, I see a lot of people saying, well, then why did she still stay with him? You know, why did she withdraw the complaint? Why didn't she leave him? And again, we come to that whole point about victims of domestic violence who often find it actually very difficult to just walk out of these situations, don't they?
Well, Nidhi, three reasons. I would say that one, of course, that she must have been very, very fearful of him. Maybe that he threatened that he will kill the parents or he'll kill the other loved ones in the family. Could be that kind of extreme fear that he instilled in her, because when she said, he beats me up, he throttled me. And you know, I'm really surprised that in this kind of a situation, I want to question the police action. Did they call him to the police station? If they have not called him in such extreme application where she's already fearing for her life, then just even if she withdraw the application, don't they know that under fear, a lot of girls do that, and in domestic violence cases they continue to live in that fearful situation because they don't know what will happen to them. If something they do which goes against his wish, then he may even harm the rest of the family and other people. So if the police did not act on the application, there is clear-cut dereliction of duty. Is not enough to, this is a matter which should have been taken cognizance of, because this is not only domestic violence saying that, okay, he beats me up and all, but he will kill me. You know, he threatens to kill me. Now, what does that mean?
Right. Right, absolutely. As you point out, Ranjana Kumari, there is a very real fear that victims of domestic abuse have, and it's not that simple, even after getting the courage to file a complaint, to actually follow through on so many things. We also have a senior advocate, Seema Kushwaha, joining us, and you know, she in fact has given advice to Shraddha's father in this matter. And Seema, just wanted to ask you, in terms of evidentiary value, what Mr. Lal was also saying, how important is this letter today? The fact that it's been written in Shraddha's own hand, it talks about Aftab's violent behavior towards her. ये कितना important है?
निधि मैम, इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट का सेक्शन 6 रेस जेस्टे का जो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ रेस जेस्टे है, डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ रेस जेस्टे है, इसमें हम इसका तब यूज करते हैं इन जनरल किसी भी केस में जब हमारे पास कोई भी कंक्लूसिव, कोई भी कंक्रीट एविडेंस नहीं होता है, डायरेक्ट कोई एविडेंस नहीं होता है। अगर इस पूरे केस की बात करें तो जो भी हमारे पास स्टेटमेंट है आफ्ताब का कि उसने जो एडमिट किया है, जो पुलिस के सामने उसने कन्फेशन किया है, उस कन्फेशन को बेस बना करके इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया जा रहा है। जो भी श्रद्धा के बोन्स के टुकड़े मिले हैं, उनका जब डीएनए सैंपल आएगा, उनका जब फॉरेंसिक रिपोर्ट आएगा, देन पता चलेगा कि ये श्रद्धा के हैं या नहीं। बट इस केस में जिस तरीके से अदर एविडेंस हमारे सामने आ रहे हैं, श्रद्धा को वो किस तरीके से टॉर्चर करता था, ये लेटर अगर आया है तो इस लेटर के माध्यम से उसके बाद फ्रिज खरीदना, श्रद्धा को थ्रेट करना, वो उनके पास डॉक्टर के पास जाना, उनकी व्हाट्सएप चैट से ये क्लियर होना कि वो उसको टॉर्चर करता था, पीटता था, ये सारी चीजें जो रेस जेस्टे का डॉक्ट्रिन है इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट का, वो सारी कड़ियां जोड़ते हुए कंक्लूजन पर पहुंच रहा है। और सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस के आधार पे मुझे नहीं लगता है कि डेथ पेनल्टी जैसा पनिशमेंट मिल सकता है इस केस में, बट ये कन्विक्शन तो इसका हो सकता है। इतना इस केस में चीजें क्लियर हो रही हैं। लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट बात मैम इसमें ये है कि पुलिस अभी तक कोई भी कंक्रीट इसमें एविडेंस नहीं जुटा पाई है, सिवाय क्योंकि कल मुझे पता चला कि कोर्ट रूम में उसने कन्फेशन, कोर्ट रूम में नहीं, पुलिस कस्टडी में वो है और उसने कन्फेशन किया है, तो ये पुलिस कस्टडी में दी गई कन्फेशन भी एडमिसिबल नहीं है कोर्ट रूम में। तो अब जो भी कंक्रीट एविडेंस निकल करके सामने आएगा उसको ही बेस बनाया जाएगा सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस के आधार पर, क्योंकि अगर ये डाउटफुल है तो डाउट का बेनिफिट ऑलवेज एक्यूज्ड को मिलता है। हम कितना कोर्ट में सस्टेन कर पाएंगे इन चीजों को लेकर के, ये अभी फर्दर इन्वेस्टिगेशन कंप्लीट होने के बाद ही पता चलेगा मैम।
आई थिंक दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, सीमा कुशवाहा। रंजना कुमारी, आर यू वरीड in that this investigation in that sense needs to be so foolproof and so thorough? We can't just sit back and say he's confessed to the police. That's inadmissible in court. So this really requires hardcore evidence, doesn't it, to build up a case?
Absolutely, Nidhi. I mean, saying anything under the, he can always say that I was coerced to say these things. So it's never admissible, what the statement made in front of the police. So the evidence that they are collecting, and also look at the way police is leaking all these stories. How do we know how many pieces of the body was cut? How do we know? It's all the stories being leaked. Now, this should have been a very, very confidential information where the police is going, a lot of camera goes behind and all kinds of, I don't see anything coming out of this case because as Seema very rightly said that, you cannot produce enough evidence to prove that these are her body parts, and then also to say that what was the intent for killing, where is the weapon of the killer, how did he cut her into the pieces, where is that knife or whatever thing that he used. So many things will be needed to pin him down, and so far nothing has been made available except for all these dramatic stories where they are going to this park, they are going to that well, or all kinds of things they are trying to do to find the body parts of the girl. They should go back to this whole letter, and they should go back to the letter and find out who are these friends, why did his family, what is the statement of his family, how did they convince her, what was really happening, how much under the knowledge they were, if she was really threatened, and then start building the story from there, from this letter. But Nidhi, all over the country we are seeing this. When women complain of domestic violence, for police it is the last and the least priority. Police is not acting on those complaints. As a result, first of all, mustering the courage to say all this to the police station, and then two police calls, samjhota kar lo, baatchit kar lo.
Exactly. I want to ask Mr. Lal about that. Isn't this a big problem that often when women do go to the police, and very few women find the courage to do that, they'll turn around and say, ye andruni mamla hai, it's an internal matter, find a way out, compromise karo. When law enforcement does that to you, then where do women go?
An intelligent police officer should be able to make out how serious is the complaint. And in all cases where there is a serious matter of violence, as there was in this case, I would have personally taken a lot of interest in seeing to it that we knew all the facts. However, let us not forget that this is a 2-year-old application, and for 2 years the accused did not kill the deceased. So the police, even if it had carried out an investigation then, at most they would have advised the woman not to live with this man, which would have been beyond their jurisdiction as a matter of fact. So it was a decision taken by the woman to live with this man, and the police could only have advised them. My feeling is that expectation from police in such matters has got to be understood in the light of the realities of our life. I think to expect that the police should have been able to unravel what was going to happen 2 years hence is not right.
All right, I'll leave it at that for the moment, but important developments taking place today with, that letter coming and becoming public, clearly showing a certain pattern of behavior. And as Mr. Lal rightly pointed out, that becomes important in a case where so much of the evidence at the moment is circumstantial. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us.